Hello, everyone, and welcome to the big show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. If you're a first-time listener, thanks for stopping by. I am your host, Josh Lilquist, and we are happy to have you with us today. As always, once again, regular repeat offender, I have my good friend and my good pal. He is the one and the only, Mr. Al Connickson, on the show here today. Al, how are you doing today?
I am feeling fantastic, and once again, looking forward to a great show.
You almost thought I was going to bring back that Joey Tribbiani. How you doing?
I never quite know how you're going to start out, and I can't prepare for it because I have no idea.
That's right, but I'm glad you kind of mentioned that because some people think you can't prepare for the stock market. Well, you actually can prepare for the stock market.
You have to.
You have to prepare for the stock market, and that's a lot of the things that we're going to discuss here on Investing and Trading Live is how to have a plan in the financial markets, how to be prepared for moves, whether the markets go up or they go down. And think about it, Al. This is the holiday season, and most of you are probably listening right now and probably thinking, well, what's going on? Christmas is over, New Year's is over. Well, it is the holiday football season. This is just like a holiday.
It is.
You got playoffs you got coming up. You got the Minnesota Vikings planning and practicing all week. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers practicing all week. The Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. They're all practicing and creating a plan for their game.
Right.
For the big games, playoffs, you got wild card weekend coming up here. And you have a lot of teams trying to make it to that promised land, the Super Bowl. But they're not going to do that without practice. They're not going to do that without a step-by-step process. They're not going to do that without practicing to get ready for those games. That's the same thing that we want to do in the financial markets. Now, think about this. If you're able to sit down and have an investment plan, whether you want to be buying and selling in the financial markets, whether that's for income strategies or 401k and IRA strategies, how that might help your consistency in the markets. And that's what I want to discuss here today, Al, is how to have more consistency in the markets by having a strict plan. And then all you have to do is follow that plan. Simple rules in there to follow that plan to have better financial success moving forward. So let's discuss some of that. Before we do that, we had some big news this week. CPI on Thursday, other events going on, lots of stuff going on. What's your take on the market? And then we're going to get into how to have a plan in the financial markets.
I want to go back to your football analogy, but let's talk about that CPI. CPI numbers came out exactly as they were expected to come out. There was an increase of 6.5%, which was down 0.1% in December. The core CPI came out at a positive 5.7%, which was up 0.3% from the previous month. And I think what happened, if you watch what is going on before, during, and after those numbers come out, we're seeing all the emotional impact that it has on the public. And I think before the CPI numbers came out, people were anticipating, and maybe hoping is a better word, they were hoping that the numbers would show that things were improving enough where the Fed would not raise interest rates as much, or maybe even start pivoting and lowering interest rates, or just letting it ride for a while.
Yeah, the funny thing is the market really, after the announcement, really went down.
Well, it did. It did because people were discouraged because their hopes of having a better number didn't appear. So they got a little discouraged and started selling. But I think the interesting thing, we always talk about having a plan, and in that plan having a strategy that shows you how to identify with a high degree of accuracy when turning points in the market are going to occur. We do that by identifying what we call demand zones and supply zones. A demand zone is an area on a price chart where there are a lot of buy orders that are getting ready to become filled. They're getting ready to become active. In the supply zone, there are a lot of sell orders, institutional sell orders that are getting ready to become active and hit the market. We actually, back in December, I think it was on about December 14th, identified one of those supply zones where you could have actually had a position set. And the morning that the CPI came out, initially the market started looking like it was going to move up, and it moved up right into just kissed that supply zone, rolled over, and took a big dump down. So you could have been positioned for this. But you use that analogy of the teams that are getting ready for the playoffs. What they're doing, they're looking at films of teams that they're playing, and they're putting together a plan based on that particular team.
Yep.
It might be the way they approach that the upcoming game might be different than it would be if they were playing a different team. So, and the same thing is true in the markets. The strategy that you use, and you should have a strategy that allows you to participate in anything that's happening in the market or the economy. And the market is not always going to go one direction, and it's also not predictable. It's probably one of the most unpredictable things there are. So you have to be ready. You have to be quick and ready to make a change in the way that you're approaching the markets, but that should all be part of your plan. And really, the most important, the critical kind of heart of your plan should be this. To be successful, you just have to need to know when something is a good buy and then when to sell it. And how do you know when something's a good buy? Well, the best time to actually get into a position is at one of those turning points. And those turning points, almost 100% of the time, are created by big institutional buying and selling. And that's what our core strategy that we teach our students, that's what it does. It identifies where those big institutional buys and sells are going to take place. And then you have to identify when you're going to sell. You first identify the right time to get in. And when you sell, you need to sell either when you're wrong, you need to know how to get out at the right time. And then if you're right and you have a profit, you need to know how to identify that and get out to protect your profit.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important is really having the proper strategy. And that's what we do here at Online Trading Academy. We have a strategy that's designed to follow the institutions, hopefully buy when there's buyers, sell when there's sellers, but to do that with consistency and confidence and by putting the odds in your favor. And you do have to plan ahead. And you do have to plan ahead in sports, the same thing in your finances. But also you have to prepare for that particular investment or trade, just like particular team that Al was talking about. If you want to trade and invest for your longer term wealth, there might be a little bit different strategy that you're doing there than you might be doing for an income strategy. And we're going to discuss that coming up here in the next couple segments. And so we have investing classes where we introduce you to this strategy that's designed to teach you to make smarter investing and trading decisions. And these are classes where we've taught thousands, just like you, how to make smart investing decisions. So I want to give a text line for you to come into this class. You can text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for this free class. They're during the week, on the weekends, but also in the evening. You can text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now. When you do that, you're going to receive a text right back. It's automated to pick a day. We do these typically Wednesdays or Saturdays, periodically during the week, and you can choose a date that works best for you. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now. Coming up next, we're going to talk about income strategies. So if you're working now and you want an income strategy on top of your job, there's ways to do that with the markets. Coming up next, so stay tuned. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We'll be right back.